What's up, guys? Kitbash Customs here, coming at you with another video. I just want to show you guys the difference in the joints you can use for customs, so you don't have to sand or paint your entire figure. I have a few different varieties of joints and arms and legs. I got MCU, and the rest are from comic figures. This is from Taskmaster, from the Onslaught Wave, Sunfire from the Warlock, Jim Lee Cyclops from the Warlock Wave. This is Iron Fist from Dormammu, and then Black Suit Spider-Man from Sandman. These joints, I believe, are from Black Suit. This is, I want to say, Ghost Rider. I think that's Ghost Rider's knee joint. Apology if you can't see it. Ghost Rider's knee joint, because this is dirty. Black Spidey, I think these are knee joints. These might be elbow joints. I'm not sure. These aren't even Black Suit Spidey. This is blue. I don't even know. This might be Speed Demon, I'm thinking. But yeah. You can pretty much swap anything with anything except the MCU stuff. The MCU stuff, the joints on the MCU stuff, you can see this, are really big. And it makes it hard to swap other things. Like, you wouldn't be able to swap. Maybe you could. Wow, dropped it. Maybe you could swap that. Probably. You might be able to with some work, some elbow grease. But a lot of this MCU stuff, the joints are really big, and it's really hard to swap stuff over to it. I don't even have any more MCU stuff. I do have these from the knee down, so I can show you that too. This is what I mean when I say that. I believe this is a knee joint to a. Let me get it in my hand. This is a knee joint to a. I want to say a Bucky cap mold. It might be an elbow joint, judging by the different sizes of the holes. Let me find a knee joint really quick so I can show you what I'm trying to show you. Excuse my noise. I might not be able to find a loose knee joint. It'll be just my luck. I can't. Is this one? Yeah, this is one. Okay, this is for sure a knee to a Bucky cap. And like, if I was to put this in here, it's actually tight. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. But it doesn't look right. It looks weird. You can see it. The joint, it just looks weird. It's too small. Like, the MCU legs are really full, so the knees are pretty big as well. And then when you put the regular standard knees, it just doesn't look right. But yeah, so you get those two, the MCU stuff. Pretty much you could swap, but you really have to fudge it. Like I did when I did my overdrive. Even though these legs, I want to say that, okay, so I did swap it. These this is all Ghost Rider, or Spider-Man Noir actually. And then from the knee down is MCU Daredevil, or Netflix Daredevil. And it swaps over pretty good. The knees are a little bit small for me, but it being all black and the way I use it, you really can't tell. So sometimes you can get away with it, but most times stuff would be too big or too small and it look weird. But pretty much, like, say you wanted to make... Now, the reason I made this video is to show you, like, if you wanted to paint a silver figure, instead of sanding, which you still might have to do, because say the silver is not the same silver as the joint, you still would have to sand the joint. But just say for kicks and giggles, you were painting a silver figure, and you had some silver body parts, like this leg, for example, or silver arms, or whatever. Say you had a Silver Surfer, and you wanted to make another silver character, like, I don't even know. But you could take all that Silver Surfer stuff and just throw it on that body, and you would have minimal paint, unless you had to paint a head or hands or feet. But that'd be different because you won't have to sand the joints. You shouldn't have to. Like, I've had instances like with this one. Go back to this overdrive. A lot of this stuff came from like the arms, the elbows, the knees, and the legs all came from Netflix Daredevil. But Spider-Man Noir is already black, and so is Netflix Daredevil, so I didn't have to sand any joints. Even though I painted over them, whatever rubs off, you won't be able to tell because the joints are already black. Like, everything's already black, so I don't have to worry about paint rub. Even if it rubs, you won't tell. Like, only thing wasn't black already was the head, but the head doesn't rub. Like, any way I go with it, the head won't rub, so I won't have to worry about the paint coming off the head. But other than that, all the joints were already black, so that one was a win. And I've had other instances where that happens, because I have people ask me like how do you do this, how do you do that, and then as far as painting goes, like a lot of my paints, like these golds, this gold and the silver, I watered them down. Their consistency, you want them to be as consistent as milk, the same consistency as milk. So you want them to be really thin. I don't know if you can see it moving in there, but this paint's really thin, and it helps with the it helps when you paint multiple coats. Because if you do this paint right out the bottle, the regular thickness is too thick, and the paint it'll splotch up and it'll make a mess. Yeah, see how watery that is? It's perfect for multiple coats. Like I'm painting these Hulkbuster legs, the gold and the silvers I'm using are really, really watery, and it just helps. So the paint doesn't build up, it doesn't scratch off or anything. Like I'm scratching it, and it's on there. And then you just do multiple coats. It doesn't. You could do multiple coats without the paint building up. Like I think I did. Which one is this? That's not the right one, is it? Yeah, I want to say that's like 4 or 5 coats of gold, and it's not built up. It's not soft. It's not anything. Like it won't leave a fingerprint. And yeah, just pretty much like whatever paint I get, I'll just water it down. Depending on how I'm using it, I'll water it down and go that route. Even with washes, like I made this wash, and I put a lot of paint in here, but I probably put about that much paint in here, and the rest is just water. I haven't used it yet, but it should be pretty good to go for a wash. Because most times you do a wash, you're going to wipe it off anyway. I did the same thing for my primer. I put a lot of water in here because this was really thick. It's still pretty thick, but I figured for a primer, it doesn't matter. For a primer, it doesn't matter. For the guy who was asking me, see if I can show you on camera. It might be backwards, but if I can get the cap on the bottle, there it is. It's just a Model Masters primer. Model Masters acrylic primer. That's all it is. Nothing special. And this really helped the Hulkbuster pieces. It really helped me get the paint on there and get everything going. Because I believe, yeah, this one was primed. So this was all primed. All of this, and this was primed. And I primed these parts too. And the silver and the gold just really pop. Like you do a couple coats, like I did all of these. I primed all of that. Did a couple coats of gold and silver, and it just pops. I don't know why I never thought about that. But I will be doing it from now on, though. Pretty much anything I paint over, I'll be priming. So, but yeah, like I said, any color you paint, I try to match the joints. I try to color match the joints. It just helps a lot. I also did it with the Magneto. My Magneto custom. Let me pull it out. This figure, the base body is black, but I just did a lot of sanding, really, and I swapped the joints. So these joints are swapped from Sunfire. The knees and the elbows are all from Sunfire, because I didn't want to have to worry about paint rub, and it was rubbing pretty bad. So the base body was black, so I just painted everything red, but I didn't want to worry about I had to worry about the rub, like as far as it goes in here, like here and here, like the contact between this piece and this and there. I had to worry about paint rub, but now I don't with the joints because it's red. So even if the paint comes off, the joint's already red. Just a better example, and I know I gotta fix this. I don't know why this broke, but it did. But I just gotta fix it up. But yeah, I just wanted to not worry about joint rub, so I just swapped. I know Sunfire was the only figure I had at the time with red joints, so I just wanted to swap it over and make it to where I didn't have to worry about it, and I don't. Which is crazy because this body was black originally, and I thought it was gonna be bad going to all red, but it actually worked pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with this one. And I like the paint shading I did because I didn't put a wash. I just dry brushed the red. But yeah, I'll put his card. I'll link his video right now. I'll link Overdrive's video too when I and this one so you can see his video. But yeah, when you do a custom though, just try to find the similar joints if you can. If you have the extra pieces, if you don't, you just really have to prep the joint. Pull out if you have a Dremel. If you don't have a Dremel, you can also use one of these. I got this from the 99-cent store. You can you pretty much just take it. It'll take a long time, but you just take it and you just sand away at the joint. And I know these are curved joints, but it can still be done. Trust me, I used to do it. You just take it and you sand it, and you can see. Like I said, it'll take a long time, but you can do it. It's not impossible. It's all about determination. Like if you really want to get it done, you can. Because I used to sand my joints by hand until I got a Dremel. Once you get a Dremel, the process just expedites the process. You can do it a lot faster, but it is the same process. You just want to take off as not too much plastic in here, because if you make these look weird, you can tell sometimes. Certain figures you can tell, like I know on these on this is the Spider-Man body, and that was the importance of the different ones too, because these are all from different body types and different body molds. If you can see it, I know this is dirty. I haven't switched this yet because I don't have any more tape, but if you can see what I'm talking about, it's probably better right there, because this is like color blocking. But you don't want to sand too much. Like if you can see in here, if you can see in there, get closer. Is that enough light? Let's see. Yeah, if you can see in there, that joint is really close. That joint is really close to everything else in there. So if you sand too much, you'll be able to tell. So one thing you don't want to do is sand too much. It's like a fine balance. Like with painting and sanding, it's all a fine balance on how you do it. Any sand joints, like if you go too far, you can tell. And with shoulder joints as well. Most shoulder, you won't be able to get this kind of access to a shoulder joint because it'll be on a toy. It'll be on the figure. So this shoulder joint is from this type of body mold. I'll link his video in there too. But as you can see, you won't be able to really get in there. You won't be able to get in here and sand. So if you're painting these black, what I like about this body mold is these butterfly joints are soft plastic. This butterfly joint is soft plastic. So if you put enough heat to this arm will pop out like this one, like these two. I didn't break the torso to get these out. This is just heat and pop with these, and they'll pop right back in as well. So if you're painting on this body mold, these are really easy to either swap or sand down to paint. Now if you're doing a body mold like, let's get back to Magneto, his joint, I had to really do some acrobatics. Like I had to go back here and go to like more open spots to get the joint to sand it down. And it's still not perfect. Unless you crack the torso and take these arms off and then sand them, then you'll really get at them. But if you don't, then you just have to work with what you got. But like for example, if you're gonna paint this guy all black, or say all green, or whatever other color his body comes in, so you have a spare, like I have spare parts because I have a lot of fodder. So if I wanted to paint this guy's upper torso black and the shoulders and everything, instead of me sanding all of this down, what I would do personally is I would swap it over. I would swap this arm and this body. That way I wouldn't have to worry about sanding or anything. I wouldn't have to worry about deforming the joint or anything because it'd already be black. But yeah, just basic tips and tricks for customizing figures. It all comes with time. Like I'm not perfect at this by any means. You shouldn't strive to be perfect at it your first go around. Everything takes practice and everything takes time and it's determination. Like if you have a figure that you want to be made, if it's something that you know Hasbro's not going to make and you want to make it, my suggestions, take your time, look at a lot of reference pictures. Don't just go in off of one picture. You can off of one design go in and make a custom off of it, but I recommend looking at a lot of different pictures and different angles of the costume. If you can't see behind it, try to get a screen cap or try to find a comic panel with it and just go with that. Like I said, all comes with time. None of this came overnight. Painting is probably the easiest part, but you do too much paint. So just take your time and go after it the way you want to. Let me know if this video helped you in any way. Like, comment, subscribe. My Instagram will be below. Facebook page will be below. I enjoy reading the comments when they're good, even when they're bad. So leave me some comments, and I'm out.